Okay. Just making sure you could see me just a bit. I know it's still a little dark. It's a little. It's basically about 7 minutes till. Well, 8. Yeah, about 7 minutes to 7. I don't have to be at work till 6:30 today or tonight, if you will. But then it really gets tricky because I get off at 11, and then I gotta be back at 9 and go for an 8-hour shift, which is 9 to 6. Fortunately, I come back for an hour lunch after 4 hours, and then I go back and I do a 10:30 to 6:30. 10:30 to 7:30. Then I do a 6 to 3, and then I'm off. Go figure. And then my schedule kind of lightens up a little bit. I do a 4 to 8, and then 9 to 1, then I'm off again. So just got to go through 3 8-hour days, and should be okay. I've done it before. It's no big deal. But anyway, that's not what I'm here to talk about. What I'm here to talk about is to give my thoughts, basically, on the first half, if you will, of Worlds Unite, the Sonic Mega Man crossover. Now I know Part 7 has come out already. I'm probably going to get Part 7 in the mail today, knowing my luck, because some people are already talking about it, spoiling it, showing pictures. And fortunately enough, I am up to about. Fortunately enough, I have Part 1 to 6, and I have the first of the 2 battle books as well, the Mega Man version. But so far, what has Worlds Unite been, in my opinion? How's it been? Well, I will say this. It was kind of a slow start at first. I will say that. We did get some good pickup points here and there, and things were interesting. We kind of got to see how certain characters got involved and stuff, and and whatnot. I mean, I'll give it this. I mean, it's like I said in my reviews, and you can watch them here, and you can also watch Mega Beatman's reviews on his True Blue Reviews channel. I will say this. How do I put this? The first 2 issues were kind of lackluster at first. Well, not lackluster, but basically more like filler, or more like introductory issues. Kind of get you introduced to who the villain was, who the protagonists were going to be, and basically what the situation was. And it really wasn't until Part 3 that things started to pick up. Honestly, it really wasn't until about Part 3 things started to pick up a bit. I mean, Part 1, yeah, we had the encounter. Part 1, okay. Part 1, like I said, Part 1 and 2 were kind of like giving us an introduction and stuff, what was going on, who the villains were, the antagonists and all that, and the protagonist, and what the situation was. And it wasn't really until Part 3 that things started to pick up. We had the fights, if you will, with the Robot Masters facing off against Sonic and the Sonic Man persona, and the Freedom Fighters facing off against Mega Eggman, and which is Mega Man's roboticized Master's persona. So we had that. That's when it started to pick up a little bit. And then when we got to Part 4, which was Mega Man issue 50, things started to pick up even more so, just a little bit. And that, of course, that's where Sonic and Mega Man got restored, because the doctors had basically planted that into them, and to where they would encounter each other, they would that by encountering each other they would restore each other and stuff. So Part 3 and 4 kind of really started to pick up the slack a little bit. It kind of gave the characters an idea of the situation they were in, and found out that, yeah, we may be from different worlds and all that, but hey, we have one common goal. So, yeah, Part 3 and 4 kind of picked up a little bit. Um, Part 5 was more of a break in the action, if you will. More of a break in the action, kind of like a lot of people look more of a relaxed issue, a very interactive issue between the characters, and it's something that a lot of fans have actually, believe it or not, have praised that issue for in the entire so far in the entire first half of the basically the first 6 issues of the crossover, because it's basically more of a, getting to know basically it's more of an issue where the characters are getting to know each other, kind of do some comparisons of weapons and stuff, and it's just a really laid back kind of issue, and a lot of people like that because the last time we had a crossover, which was Worlds Collide, we didn't get any of that, and these kind of issues and crossovers, no matter who the publisher is, it's always a welcome deal, because at least you get the characters to interact and let them kind of get to know each other better and kind of figure out what they're going to do. So after that, of course, we end that issue with them getting ready to battle Sigma and his army, the Deadly Six, and all of them, the Deadly Six and some of his Maverick Hunters. So, we have that issue ending, and then part 6, which is Sonic Boom, is where the action really starts to pick up, and we kind of get an idea, basically now, how far this whole Genesis thing is, coming around, and how serious the situation is, to the point that more Genesis portals will open up, and Styx ends up in the world of Street Fighter and gets encountered by Chun-Li. So, the 6th issue where the action picks up again, really brings out the, really gives you an idea, like I said, of what other game characters are going to come into play down the line. So when I look at the first half, which is initially the first 6 issues of the 12-issue arc, a crossover, I'm okay with it. I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of up and down. It's kind of like sort of like 50-50, depending on how you look at it. Yes, it started out slowly at first, and then it picked up, and then it died down. Now it's picking up. Basically, it's kind of like 50-50, like I said. There's some good things about it, some bad things. And then when you have the addition of the battle books, which I felt, and I even said this in my review for the battle books, I said that this should have been placed probably between the first 3 issues. It would have made more sense, because then that way you could coincide, kind of go back and forth. Because what I look at when I see the battle book coming out basically around the 4th issue, basically everybody, Mega Man and Sonic are restored, and everything we're leading into that, like I said, that laid back issue, the issue 5, the interactive issue between the characters. It really doesn't make any sense, because even if you have the issues beforehand, you have to go back and say, okay, where did this take place? And it doesn't make sense. And to me, like I said, between issues 1 and 3, and preferably issues 2 and 3, would have made more sense, in a sense, to put the battle books release in, because that way you can coincide with it, and go from there. But like I said, between issues 1 and 3 would have been better off than right around the release of issue 4. So I think it would have been better off doing it that way, because, like I was saying, I kind of get a similar vibe that I got years ago when they did the Iron Dominion arc, and in Sonic Universe we had this 4-part spin-off, not spin-off, but this 4-part tie-in story called Journey to the East. You see, basically the tie-in story Journey to the East started, I think, after, issue 209 or something like that. and the characters came back at the end of issue 210, and then finished off the enemy in 211. And we were still going on with Journey to the East while that was all happening, even while we got into 212, 213, we were still doing Journey to the East. So to me, I kind of get that vibe with the Battle book, or at least the Mega Man one, and hopefully we're not going to get that with the Sonic one, but who knows? Maybe maybe the Sonic one's going to be an advancement of what happens if issues that'll come out in the next month or so. But still, to me, it's more like I look at it. I look at this, and to me, I just get that vibe of it would have been better if they at least would have coincided with the first 3 issues of the crossover instead of being around issue 4. And I'm sure a lot of people out there would agree with me on that. But honestly, though, like I said, it's kind of a 50-50 deal when it comes to the first half of Worlds Unite. I know one of the common complaints people have is the story's getting too overcrowded. It's like we got enough characters already with the Freedom Fighters, the Boom characters, Styx, Comedy Chip, and Fativius Beaver. We've got enough going on with the Maverick Hunters and the X character, Mega Man and Roll, and the X character and X, and then we got the Sigma Army and the Deadly Six and Eggman and Wily. It's like, how much more do we have to squeeze in? And now you have the Street Fighter characters coming in. Presumably it looks like it's going to be Chun-Li, Ken, Ryu, and possibly Guile coming into play. And then after that you're getting, characters from Knights, Ghosts and Goblins. You get all these, Alex Kidd, you get all these other Capcom and Sega game characters coming in to be part of this. And with the addition that you probably have Shadow and Rouge showing up again, along with Omega for Team Dark, and it's like, how much more crowded can a crossover get? And I understand people getting frustrated because it's like, what's the point? Why bring all these characters in? It's not necessary. And when I look at this crossover, even after reading the first 6 issues, I still got to read part 7, which I think, like I said, I'm probably going to end up getting today in the mail. Maybe, I'm not really sure. But when I look at that, I don't look at how do I put this? I don't look at a crossover that's not so much overcrowded, but I look at, from maybe Ian's perspective, that to show how serious the situation is, and how gigantic the situation is, and how serious it is, and how perilous it is. Basically, the epicness of it is, you got to have every single major game character along with comic exclusive characters in the game, in the story, to show how serious the situation is. I mean, basically it's taking this one Mega Man villain, Mega Man X villain that is, to bring all these characters together, which again, when you take a look at that collage poster that all the Viant issues were piecing together, pieced together, if you will, that Viant poster, basically that gives you an idea that this is more of a Mega Man X-centric story. But the thing is, to me, it is not just more of a Mega Man X-centric story. It's just something that I think it's more of a mandate, if you want the honest truth. I think it's more of a mandate. It's like Ian Flynn was planning to do a sequel, maybe, and probably was going to do it this year, but he probably wasn't planning on it being this big. He probably wasn't planning on it being this massive character-wise. He was probably planning on it being a simple 12-issue crossover between all the books, but not at this level. Probably not at this level. That's probably what it is. I mean, let's be honest. You think all these characters coming in from the Sega game side and Capcom game side are his idea? Maybe some of them are, but I think in all honesty, it's mandates. It's like, okay, we want you to put this character in, we want you to put that character in, that character, that character, that character. Whoop, 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 whoop. Put all those characters in. Put them all in. And I'm sure if you're Ian Flynn, you're thinking, well, why? We were okay with the characters we had last time. You know, why do we have to put them all in? You know, you got to think from Ian's perspective. Why do we have to put them all in? There's like, to show the epicness, to show how big the situation is. Yeah, that's why. I'm pretty sure that may have been the conversation. I'm not really sure. It's just my opinion on it, my take on it. But I think, in all honesty, that's probably the situation. He probably wasn't planning on it being so overcrowded with characters. But I think because of the mandates by Capcom, Sega, and maybe even Archie, he had to do it. I'm thinking he simply wanted to put the Freedom Fighters along with the Maverick Hunters and X and Mega Man and Roll and Styx, and go from there. And that was it. He wasn't planning on bringing in Knights. He wasn't planning on bringing in the Street Fighter characters. He wasn't planning on bringing Sir Arthur from Ghosts and Goblins in. He wasn't planning on bringing Alex Kidd in. He wasn't planning on this game character or that game character coming in. He was just planning on probably just having a simplified crossover. And that's it. But, again, that's just my speculation. It's like, let's say, Transformers the movie. Transformers the movie is going to be celebrating its 30th anniversary soon. It's like, if who has the rights to them right now? IDW? IDW has them? It's like if IDW decided, okay, let's bring in all the Hasbro characters to do a crossover to celebrate the 30th anniversary. Let's bring in the ponies. We've done that before. Let's do it again. But at the same time, let's bring in the gem characters. Oh, let's bring in humanoids. Let's bring in G.I. Joe. Let's bring in Bigfoot. Let's bring in Shazam. Let's bring in this character. Let's bring in that character. It'd be like, well, what's the point of doing that if you're just doing what's the point? You just need a few other characters from different shows. Maybe just like from the big four: Ponies, Gem, and G.I. Joe. That's it. You don't need to bring all these other characters in, all these other Hasbro characters in. It's unnecessary. And that's probably how Ian felt, maybe. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. But, again, I can understand where a lot of you are coming from. It's like, where is Ian going to have time to have these characters interact? How is he going to help? How is it going to, what point do they have in the story? And again, I think some of it is mostly mandated. I could be wrong, but I think some of it's mostly mandated. I mean, I'm sure he probably had an idea. I'm sure he probably wanted to do Street Fighter once in a while because there is a Street Fighter comic. But I'm sure he wasn't planning on doing it like this. Just saying. But overall, when I look at the first half of the like I said, Worlds Unite, I look at a 50-50 deal. Like, there's good, there's bad. The good being, the action was basically, like I said, in the third and fourth parts, and even the fifth part, which was more of a, take a break kind of issue, laid back kind of interactive issue, which you don't normally get sometimes in crossovers. So that was a good thing. And of course, some of the bad is the lacklusterness. Not lacklusterness, but the slow build, the slowness of part 1 to 2, part 1 and 3. If you will. Well, part 1 and 2 were pretty much the slowness there. And maybe the other negative is the overcrowdedness. Who knows? But I also look at the other negative as being, their side books, the battle books, not coinciding with the actual issues they're supposed to be coinciding with. Because like I said, I kind of get a vibe similar to what I had with Sonic Universe when they did Journey to the East. And that story was still going on, well, like months after, maybe a couple